Welcome, everyone, to Soul Quest episode 32. We are here with Daniel Jackson. He is a spirit medium. We are super excited to listen to his journey and let him share his story with our listeners.
Yes, very excited, Daniel. Thanks for coming on and giving us some of your time.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's my pleasure to give as much time as I can, because as long as everybody gets the message and understands it, doesn't make a difference how long it takes for me to tell it.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
Cool.
So, Daniel, can you tell us about your childhood and how you grew up and how that got you to where you are today?
I loved Play-Doh. No, it had nothing to do with that. Just a regular kid. I grew up in a small town in New Jersey, near the Delaware River. I don't know if you know anything about the Delaware River, but it's absolutely dirty, muddy. Nasty. We used to swim in the Delaware River when I was a kid, and I'll tell you how you knew when to jump in to go in the water. We would wait till an oil slick would go by, and then we would jump in. So because we were dumb and we didn't give a shit. So
whoa,
yeah, because that's how bad the water was over there. It was horrible. My favorite saying was "Kiss your girlfriend where it smells. Take her to New Jersey." So is it joke. It smells like oil, and it's just horrible. It's called the Garden State. I don't know what, the Garden of Crap, because that's what But grew up in this town. It was next to there was a battlefield in the town. The Hessians fought there. Had a little hospital there. So as far as we knew, talking to the other neighbors, a lot of the other houses around that area were also haunted. I would see things ever since I was a kid. My mom and dad, the whole family saw them. Once when my sister was getting ready for school, my mom was helping her in the bathroom, and they were standing there in front of a full-length mirror, and there was another woman standing in the mirror, and she had on a colonial outfit. To the point where my brothers and I would be sitting downstairs watching TV. And this is back in the 70s, where my sister had a record player, and you had to lift up the record and hit the switch, and it would drop a record down so you could play it. We'd be downstairs watching TV, and the record player would turn on, but that's not the kicker part. It would change records.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right? Well, you think it's cool until you're there and you're going, holy crap, what the hell is going on? But yeah, and then there was always glasses moving around the house, all types of things. I remember my mom and dad and I moved from New Jersey down to Delaware. So I grew up with it so much, just got used to it. My brother actually owned the house afterwards. And he had some friends come over to the house. Now in front of the house, there's a big picture window. Okay. So some friends come over to the house, and they're knocking on his door, and they're looking in the house to make sure, and they see people moving around. And so they called him on the phone and said, "Hey, how come you're not answering the door?" And my brother said, "We're not home. We're on a camping trip."
Wow.
And they saw walking around in the house were dead people.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mom and I, like I said, my mom and I, my dad came down here to Delaware, and then they no longer saw anything after that. But I did. I was continuing to see things to the point. I was in the 80s. I was in a hard rock band. I had the big hair. I wore zebra stripe spandex, because we thought we were cool. I looked like an idiot, but whatever. It was the 80s. I had big hair. It was huge, man, huge hair. And
the times.
The times, yeah. I still have hair. I just shave it off because I ride a motorcycle and it wears better under a helmet this way. But so I come home from a gig. I lay down in bed, and when I do that, something lays down next to me. Feel the pillow go down. Happens 3-4 times. I finally get up to look around that fifth time. And when I did, whatever was there picked up the blanket, brought it up to the ceiling, and shook it above me. And then it dropped it on me. And then after that, I slept on the couch for 2 years. But I was having other instances as well. Like one time, my grandfather lived with us, and my grandmother had passed away, and he went to visit my uncle for like 2 weeks. So I was in his room. My sister happened to be down that week. She had her little pet ferret with her. That pet ferret was a pain in the butt. But I was in my grandfather's room, hanging out, looking at pictures of my grandma, and I fell asleep. And I heard this squeaking noise. I woke up and I thought it was the ferret, and I kept saying, "Hey, knock it off, knock it off." Finally, I picked my head up one night. I turned around. His rocking chair was rocking. That's what was making the noise, and my grandmother was in it.
Oh, amazing.
She turned around and looked at me, and when she saw me and I saw her, she just got this look on her face and then gone. So
Wow.
I also saw, there was one time I was with a girlfriend, and we were watching Rocky Horror Picture Show on TV, and remember it because you remember these things because they're like traumatic instances. When you see these things, you're going to remember them.
Mhm.
So she was at the foot of the bed. I was at the by the headboard watching TV, and then this big thick white thing, like maybe 3 feet thick and like 4 or 5 feet long, snaked its way out of the closet across the room in front of the TV. And then when it got across the room, it just disappeared. And then she turned around to me and she said, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I saw it. Let's get the heck out of here." Because I mean, who wants to be around for something like that? So, but I
Whoa.
got you, like I said, I got used to this stuff. I got used to it so much that I saw these things all the time. Shadows, looked like people was peeking in the bedroom to see if I was in there, that type of thing.
Mm.
All through my life, all into my 30s, into my 40s. And then around when I was about to turn 50, my wife, in this house we're in now, she went to go to see her daughter out in California. And in that 2-week period that she was gone, I saw everything that you can imagine was ever scary. Now, because they're scary, it was scary to me because I was brought up in a Catholic, we're Catholic, not that I was a church going kid or anything like that, but Catholics, they say, "Oh, this is demons and devils."
Mhm.
So I was seeing all this stuff. Well, all this stuff I was seeing, everything was really, really scary, like green and red mist pouring out of the wall, like it's coming out like a witch's cauldron, that type of flowing onto the floor, and little creatures walking around. And I saw skulls tumbling out of the wall, with red eyes and fangs.
Oh,
I
wow.
saw
Scary.
there's this one thing that people talk about. I'd never heard of because I'd never seen it until this thing, but they call him the Hat Man. I was down here in my basement, come to get my cat. He was down there. I said, "Hey, buddy, come on, let's go." He looked to his right. Excuse me. I looked to my left, and when I did, this wall of blackness appeared in the middle of the floor, and then a man walked out of it. And he had a big, wide black hat on, a long black coat. Couldn't see his eyes, but I could see his facial features, his chin, his nose. He walked across the floor, perfect stride, but he didn't have any feet, which was kind of weird. And then he just went into the wall and went right through it, and then that wall of blackness just disappeared. I was in bed one time, and I'm always worried about getting to work on time, so I kept rolling over to look at the clock, and I rolled over one time, and when I did, there was a little girl kneeling next to my bed. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and a blue and white dress on.
Mm.
I also saw this cloud that would come out of the corner by the bedroom, by the ceiling. Came out different colors. It was gray one time, red, green, yellow, blue, like an orange color. Then it would come out red with black stripes, blue with black stripes, gray with black stripes, green with black stripes.
Wow.
I also saw this cloud form above the bed, and when it opened up with a window of blackness in it, and then what I saw after that was super creepy. Okay, so I saw a skeleton arm come out, and then another skeleton arm come out, but neither of the arms had a hand on it, which was weird. So it's just the bone right here. Then it pulled out a body like that, and it was looking around the room and looking and doing all this stuff, and I was like, "What is this?" But because when you get used to seeing things, and
Yeah.
the way that I can describe that is, I described it to anybody. If you're a kid and your mom puts green beans in front of your face, and then 30 years later you're going, "I love green beans." Why? Because you got used to it. I got used to it. Okay, so
Mhm.
I see all this stuff, and I was just going, the heck is going on here? So this thing eventually went above me and then left. So after that 2 weeks, my wife came home from California and she told me about her adventures. And then I told her about mine. Now, I'm diabetic, my wife is a nurse, a retired nurse. She figured maybe there's something wrong with my medication. Maybe I was seeing something crazy. But within around 2 or 3 days after she came home, she started seeing these things. To the point
Interesting.
where we have this camera that we kept in our house because her son was bringing in some friends that we weren't, too thrilled about. So it had a night vision. We set up the camera because it's linked to her phone. And I said, look, I'm going to go to bed now. We'll set this up, see if we catch anything. So, because I was seeing so much stuff. She does it. I go into bed. I'm laying there and I thought she was trying to wake me up, put her hands on me. I turn around and look. And when I look up, there's a 7-foot skeleton standing next to my bed. And he's got his hands on me. And I'm like, so I sit up and I said, I looked at it and just said, what do you want? What do you want with me? What are you doing here? And he had this surprised look on his face, like I even saw him. And then he just backed up and he disappeared into the wall. So I go get my wife and say, hey, bring it up on your phone. I just saw this thing. You got to bring it up. And she looks on her phone and it's not working. And I said, let's go. So we go running back in the room and we go to look at the camera, whatever it was, it turned the camera off.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
freaky.
I told her what I saw and she said, oh my God. So we were doing everything that they would tell you to do on TV at that point, like by watching like TV shows like Supernatural. We were pouring salt around the room and putting crucifixes up everywhere, but what we ended up doing, I was looking into getting a priest to come to the house and maybe do like an exorcism type thing. They don't want nothing to do with it. They don't want nothing to do with it. You know why? Because it's bullshit. That's why. So, because that stuff's fake. Okay. We'll get into that later. Because they just want you to, TV and movies want you to believe that stuff's real. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay. No one gets possessed. No one turns green. No one spits out pea soup. No one's no. It's not that way. That's a bunch of lies and bullshit. So, we end up calling a paranormal group, and we had them come to the house. But when they showed up and they had their little insignia on their vehicle, I just looked outside. My wife's over here laughing at me. We looked outside and I thought, you know what? I don't want to be this kind of famous because everybody in the neighborhood's going to think the Blair Witch Project is going on in this house and they're living next to it. But they are. So still to this day, they have no freaking idea.
Oh
so, I'm sure they may see some shit, but they're going, what the hell? But so they come to the house, they set up all their equipment. They have these little boxes, that little wire sticking off of them and little lights on them. And I said, what do they do? And they said, well, it's set off by static electricity. And I was like, he rubs his hand on my couch and waves his hand over it. And they all go blue, 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 and light up. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Okay. He said that when spirit go past them, we're good to know. I was like, oh, okay. So they had that. They had one girl had a camera. She was taking digital photos. Another guy had a video camera. He was walking around just videotaping everything. And then there was two other members, the leader and this other guy who was just observing and asking questions. Sorry, I take a lot of diabetic medication, makes me dry throat here. But so they're doing this stuff. They set up all the little boxes. And they said, okay, so where do you have a lot of this stuff go on? And I said, well, a lot of it's in the bedroom because my wife was a nurse. We black out the room in there so she can sleep during the daytime. So, and I'm getting stuff in there. So they said, okay, let's go in there. I walked through the door. And when I do, I walk past all those boxes and they all go blue and light up. And I turn around and everybody else is behind me in the other room. And I'm looking at them like, what the hell just happened? But they're all looking at me like, what was that? Like, holy crap. They walk into the room, nothing happens. We're in the room, we're talking. One guy says he's drawn to going in the closet. We kind of stand in there. He says, I'm not feeling good. We leave the closet. We go back in the bedroom. We leave the bedroom. I go out first. I walk her through the door. They all light up again. I turn around, look at everybody. They come through the door. Nothing. So then they said, well, do you have anything in the basement? Sure. Because everything stuff happens all over the house. So we just go everywhere. So we go down in the basement. We're down here talking. I'm standing over here by this other wall, and there's a mirror against the door, against the wall there. And I'm standing in front of the mirror, and the guy comes over and starts talking to me. And then I walk away from the mirror, and he goes, "Wait a minute, can you go back here a second?" I was like, "Sure. What's the deal?" He goes, "Just stand right here in front of the mirror." I said, "Okay." I stand there. He says, "Now turn around a little bit and look in the mirror." I said, "Okay." I turn around and look at the mirror, and the mirror is vibrating, making, just moving. He says, "Now step away." I step away. The mirror stops.
Oh,
He says, "Come back
wow.
in front of the mirror again." I said, "Okay." It's vibrating again. He's like, I said, "What's up with that?" He said, I don't know. I don't know. So he said, "Well,
Oh,
let's go into this back room." I said, "All right, let's see if we got anything back there." So we go in there, and we have lights on in there, but you turn it off, you can't see nothing. It's dark. So we all go in there. We're all standing there. And he said, "Okay, let's see if there's anything happens in here." I said, "Okay." My wife's standing by the light switch. She turns it off. Super dark in there. And he says, "Is there anybody here?" And then you get this. And
oh,
I was like, I didn't do anything. Did anybody else? Nope, nope, nope. Oh, let's check it again. "Is there anybody here?" And we're all standing around like, and then all of a sudden, a light, like a light bulb on the floor turns on and turns back off. And he's like, and it's all pitch black. And we're like, "Do you have any lights on the floor, Mr. Jackson?" I'm like, "You're standing on carpet. Why would I have a light on the floor?" My wife turns the light back on, and they're all looking down. And they're all going, "There's no light on the floor." "Where did that come from?" I said, I don't know either. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?"
oh my gosh, this is so cool. I used to always watch these paranormal shows. And so you were living it in
Yes,
real
I'm
life.
living it, but I live it 24/7 all the time. So we go upstairs. You're going to love this part. So we go upstairs, and they said, "Let's try a new experiment." I said, "We have this thing. It's called an ovulus, and you turn it on, and when energy goes into it, they said it's got a vocabulary of like 5,000 words." And then we were like, "Okay." So they have me go in the bedroom, lay down, pretend I'm sleeping. I do that. They come in. They walk in, they put the box on there, they flip it on, and all of a sudden it starts talking, and it's got that computer voice, and it says words like unique, special, light, energy, and then it says Helen, Paul, Wendy, Michael. One time it said the word road, like a street. It said road, and when it did that, a car went right past my house.
Whoa.
And I was like, I'm under the covers going, what the hell is So then they start asking questions. And when they asked the questions, one in particular, they said, "Are you here to harm Daniel?" And then this thing kicked in and said, "We are not here to harm Daniel. We love Daniel. We love Daniel's light. Daniel is the light. We love his energy." But when it said, "Daniel is the light," I was like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I'm the light, you know? Then they just went on asking questions, and they had a conversation for like 10 minutes.
Amazing.
What?
So they get done. They leave the bedroom. I get up. I get out of the bedroom. My wife's standing there. I walk over, and I'm like, what are they doing? They're huddled up talking to each other. She's like, I don't know. They're just talking. They get done the huddle. They come out of the huddle, and I was like, so what'd you think of that? Because I'm like, these are the professionals. They're coming here, and I'm thinking I'm going to get all kinds of answers. They're going to tell me stuff, right? Oh, and there was another part where they take digital photos of me walking around the house with each member of the house. And the girl's like pointing to the other members. "You got to check this out. Check this out." I walk over and said, "What's up with that?" She's like, "Well, we're not supposed to tell you until the big reveal, but Mr. Jackson, you really have to see this." I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, here's a picture of this member of the team. Then there's a picture of you with them." And I look at the picture, and there's like 15 and 20 light orbs completely surrounding me, not around
Wow.
anybody else, just around me. And these little sparkle lights and all this stuff. And I'm like,
Mm. Fascinating.
I said, what is that? They said, that's people. That's spirit around you. I said, they're not around anybody else. How come they're just around me? And they're like, we don't know. So after that big huddle, they come out of the huddle. And I said, so what do we got? What do we got? And you know, I'm excited. And they're like, well, we're a little confused, Mr. Jackson. I'm like, what? I said, well, whenever we use the obelisk, we can get it to spit out 1 or 2 words. I said, okay. But they said, not that many words. I said, okay. I said, well, what's that mean? He said, well, we're not sure because it never says sentences.
Whoa.
And I said, well, we had a conversation. You heard that, right? And they're like, yeah, well, yeah, we heard it all right. But it never says sentences. We don't know why it said so many sentences with you. I mean, it was talking to us, not just words. And I was like, yeah. So I said, well, look, we're going to come back in about 2 weeks and we're going to do a big reveal. We'll get all the information together and we'll let you know. But, you know, don't just go on with life. You know, he gave me this bottle with a spray bottle with water in it. I said, what's that? He goes, oh, it's holy water. If you've seen something bad, spray the holy water. And we're thinking, okay, spray the holy water. Holy water is horseshit. Okay. So, so we're spraying it around the room. We're putting the salt around. We're putting internet on and having these prayers come through it because that's what he tells us to do and all this stuff. Also horseshit. Okay. So we're doing all this stuff. 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks goes by, 4 weeks goes by, nothing. Can't hear from this guy. I call him, he's not answering my messages, nothing. Finally get a hold of him. When are you coming back for the big reveal? We're not. What do you mean you're not? The team is too scared to come back to your house, Mr. Jackson. They won't come into the house. I said, well, can you at least come to the house? And no, I don't feel comfortable being in your house anymore. And I was like, okay. He said, we don't normally get that kind of information from one house. It takes 10 or 15 houses to get all that information, like a whole season on one of these ghost hunter shows. They got all that information at one place, my house. And we don't feel comfortable coming back there. Some of the team members left. They quit the group after your house. They're too afraid. And I was like, well, you know, you guys are the professionals. I mean, you're supposed to be helping me out. What am I supposed to do now? And he's like, well, I really don't know what to tell you what to do at this point, but you know, just keep up with the prayers and the holy water. If you need some more, just, you know, let me know. And I'm like, that's not helping me. I need help here. I need answers. So what we ended up doing was finding some mediums. We reached out to some mediums. I ended up talking to about 4 or 5 of them. And when I did, none of them knew each other, but each one of them told me the same story about me.
Really?
One in particular where we went to, she was having a show. So I got tickets and we went to the show. Now I didn't tell her I was coming to the show. I just said I would come to a show. So 50 people are there. 8 people got red. Number 2 was me. She picks out a spirit. She says, but I got this one spirit that keeps coming up here and trying to bother me like he wants to get up to the front of the row. But I have to tell him to come back and wait his turn. And he does. So she reads one lady and then she goes, you know what? This other spirit is adamant. I gotta let him come in. So he's showing me like a white t-shirt, and sometimes he wears flannel shirts a lot, and he wears a business suit a lot. And I'm getting the name Robert. And I went, that's for me. And she goes, who's that? I said, that's my dad. And she said, he passed away in kind of a horrific kind of way. I said, yes. And she said, he fell down and that's how he died. Yes. I said, he had blunt force trauma. He fell on a set of stairs and it moved his brainstem. And she said, who is Sarah? And I said, Sarah. I said, I have a niece named Sarah. She said, no. She said, Sarah, who had to make the big decision. I said, oh, to pull the plug. She said, yeah. I said, that's my mom. That's her middle name. And then he showed her, she said, I see a school bus and I see someone wearing like scrubs with a stethoscope around their neck. And I see what looks like a prison and prison bars. And I said, yeah, that's me. I said, I went to school for medical records and now I work in prison. So all this stuff, I
Wow.
knew this was real. Okay. So after the show, we go down and talk to her. And I said, hey, how are you? And she's good. How are you? I said, I'm Daniel. I talked to you on the phone a couple of weeks ago. She goes, oh, Daniel. She goes, oh my God. She goes, we need to talk. I said, okay. So everybody kind of leaves. We're standing around and she's like, I tell her I'm seeing all these skulls and all this other stuff and crazy stuff. And she says, well, you have an ability to see spirit. You do. But the reason you're seeing so many is because spirit is coming to you. And I said, okay, what's that mean? She said, well, they see you like a super bright white light, like you're a beacon of light, like a moth to a flame, but you're this beacon and they are coming to you. And I said, all right. And I said, why are they coming to me? She said, because they believe that you are the light into heaven. And I was like, okay, so what do I do with that? She says, well, you have to make a big decision. Do you want to keep this or do you want to push this away? What do you want to do? And she said, I know you don't want it to go away. I said, yeah, it's a part of my life. If I could do something with it and if I could help people, if I could help these spirits that keep coming to me, yeah, I want to do something with it. So she said, well, then you have a big decision to make. I said, okay. So my wife and I, we talked about it on the way home and we got home and we talked about it some more. And I said, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go accept this. Because she said, you have to have a talk, sit down with God. And I said, good. She said, God is a higher power. I said, okay. So I went in the bedroom, blackened it out, of course, shut the door and that was it. Talked to God. Because I can talk to God whenever I want to. I don't need to go to some big white building with 50 other people because you know who else doesn't believe in that? God, because he knows. So yeah, you don't have to go to church because church is God club. That's what it is. It's a bunch of like-minded people who want to talk about religion. Who we'd talk about a made-up thing that's called religion because it is made up by people. So we had this conversation. I talked to him and I walk out and I tell my wife, okay. I said yes. She said okay. Very next day, everything changed. Within a few weeks, months, all the skull stuff started going away. I started seeing people, but I don't just see people. I see dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish. I see other beings from other worlds because we're not the only world with beings on it. I see everything. Everything you can ever imagine that's out there that is in spirit, I see that. But I don't see just spirit as well. I see other things too. They bring me messages now that I meditate. They bring me messages, comes in a cartoon form, shows me things. Sometimes I see plain videos. Sometimes my wife and I are driving in a car. I close my eyes and I see me driving in a car somewhere else. I see all kinds of, I see so much stuff that my wife and I joke about it a lot. I see so much stuff that I don't talk about it to anyone because if I did, I'm afraid it's going to get to the wrong person. They're going to come and get me and put me in a straitjacket. And you're never going to hear about me ever again because they know that I can see these things. They are aware of it.
Oh, wow. So how long ago was this that you accepted this into your life?
When I was 50. I'm about to turn 55.
So wow. 5 years.
5 years.
What?
And when
look at that look on his. Did you just call me sir? Don't call me sir. My name's Dan Cisco. You call me Dan. I call you Cisco, or I might call you handsome. How about that? Yeah.
But you know like when you were a kid,
you know what I am?
What are you?
I'm a man, just like you are. We are people. We are all people.
We are.
Color black, white, yellow, green. We're people.
Human beings.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful, eternal light beings. That's what we are. But we're here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose in this physical body. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you on that. Like, sometimes when I was talking to my brother earlier today and we were just talking about something, I just felt like I was just like channeling, telling him things, And then when I was done, I was like, oh my God, I'm done channeling.
Get messages.
He's like, man, you were just going off right now. Like just
people do.
All this. you know?
People
And
do
like,
get messages all the time, but not everybody does because they're not clear enough to get those messages because they're too caught up in the world's bullcrap. That's why.
you're
Right.
right. It's like, I mean, people call it the Matrix or the facade, you know, it's just like a make
Absolutely.
believe, you know, society that
It's a
doesn't really
reality that they
exist.
create. Yeah, they created this reality for us, and we continue to live that because we
Yeah.
choose to.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the biggest, well, I guess, how has this helped you in your life in the last 5 years since you've opened up and you've accepted this gift and you're seeing all these things? How has it helped you in your personal journey?
Because I am helping other people. I get to help other people every single day. Every time I come in contact with people, even when I'm out and about. So like 3 weeks ago, I was at a car show, and I talked to the bartender there. It's outside in this little gazebo thing with the bar, and she knows about me, so we've been talking for about 2 years, and she likes me to stay till nighttime because at nighttime I start seeing more stuff out there. So she said, it's nighttime. She's like, do you see anything? I said, well, let me close my eyes, take a look, get a better look with my third eye. And when I do that, I see this man standing there and he's got this scruffy white beard that goes all the way to his chin, scruffy white eyebrows. He's losing a little bit of hair, but he's got his glasses on too, but he puts them up like that so I can see them up on his forehead like that to show me. And she says, do you get a name? Now, here's the thing. I get names once in a while, okay? But just recently, within the past month, because my gift is progressively coming on more and more, I'm getting more names. And I was like, well, I don't really get, all of a sudden, James. I was like, oh, he tells me his name is James. She said, is he here for anybody? I said, absolutely. She's actually here for these two people down the end of the bar, this husband and wife, I'm guessing. And because I'm not psychic. But I do get psychic messages, but I'm not psychic. I don't claim to be psychic because when you do that, people go, what am I thinking? And I go, I don't know what you're thinking, but I want to know what I'm thinking. I think you're an asshole because you're trying to but yeah, so I said, it's for this guy down here, primarily for the guy. And she says, do you think I should go down there and say something? I said, well, if you want to, go right ahead. I mean, it's up to you if you don't want to, because I don't always tell everybody when I see things because you don't know how people are. You don't know the religious backgrounds or anything, and you don't know how they're going to take it. She says, well, they seem pretty nice. I'll go down there. They're here at a bar. You know, so, okay. So that she goes down there, and then 2 minutes later, I hear the girl go, oh, you mean Jim? And
oh, wow.
I said, yeah, Jim, but he goes by James. That's what he goes by. She said, yeah, Jim, that's our friend. So I go down there and say, hi, my name's Daniel Jackson. I see dead people. And yeah, his name is James, but yeah, it goes by Jim. And she said, yeah, that's our friend. He died 2 years ago. And she said, why is he here? I said, well, he's not really here for you. He's here for him. He came back to be a spirit guide for him. And then I told them how to work that, you know. And she said, "Real?" I said, "Yeah, because he's very close to him." I said, "Jim says that you're like his son. You're his son to him." And he says, "That's kind of weird." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because when he was alive, you know, I raced cars and he raced cars too. And every time I was spending a lot of time with him, he's a very good friend. And anytime we were around other people, he would tell everybody that I was his son, even though I'm not his son." I said, "Well, he believes that you are his son. To him, you are his son. And if he's here to be with you, to say that you are his son, then I'm telling you, you're his son." Okay. And he's like, yeah, he said, "That's really cool." And I told him how to work on that. I said, "But you got to take in consideration something here. This guy, when he left, he went to heaven. And because he was able to fulfill his purpose as a human, he came back to be with you." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "This guy skipped heaven to come back and be with you." When I said that, she started bawling her freaking eyes out.
Wow.
So, and people don't realize that's what they're doing. When you have some people who come back to be a spirit guide, I mean, we all have spirit guides, but when you have somebody come back from heaven, you can't imagine what heaven's. I see it, but if you can't imagine, it's like 100,000 times better than you can ever imagine. And this spirit skipped heaven to come back and be with him. I mean, that's an honor in my book. And I told him that he was really happy about that and stuff like that. And then as I'm telling them all this stuff, the bartender, there's another bartender. As I'm talking, the bartender's got this look on their face like, holy shit, I can't believe you got all that right. I said, you know why I got that right? She said, why? I said, because I can't make this shit up. That's why. Because it's real. Because it is real.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people don't know it's real until it actually happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
like
true.
Here's the ironic thing. I had a friend of the family. He passed away 2 years ago, and his name was Jim Bros. And I was going to say this to you.
He crossed over. Not everybody does. Not everybody does.
Before you started telling that story, because I was going to say, hey, you look like this guy that I know, a friend of the family. His name was Jim Bros.
Yeah,
And you look like
here.
him.
He's actually here too.
You look like him. And then you told the story about a guy named Jim and James. I was like, oh my God, I got to tell you what I was going to tell you before you tell that story. But you look like that guy.
Boom shakalaka, right?
Wow.
I got chills right now. Just telling you that.
He's actually here too as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was a good guy. He rode motorcycles too. He had a bunch of Moto Guzzi's.
Did he?
Like at least 3 of them, a sidecar Moto Guzzi and like 2 other Moto Guzzi. He was a big Moto Guzzi rider.
I'm into motorcycles. I've had a Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, 2 Kawasaki's. As a matter of fact, now I'm on my 3rd Harley. They're just bikes to me. I love them. I do love them, but yeah, they're fun as shit, man.
I know. I have a motorcycle. I ride it on a daily basis. I have a Honda.
They put you in that zone. That zone.
I was telling Sharon yesterday about it.
It's like meditation.
Dude, like I jumped on my bike just to, I made a pit stop and then I just went on a ride and I just felt so free,
there's no destination. You're just on a journey. That's what
I was just riding. I was like, I'm just going to keep riding until I feel like I want to turn around and come back,
Hey, that's a good point that you
run
just
out of freaking gas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point that he just said, Daniel. You're on a journey, not a destination. Like when you're riding your bike, that's part of the way why it feels so free to you.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
There's a lot of connection going on here. You know what I'm saying? Why?
Because I'm cool as shit. That's why.
Okay, Daniel, I have a question. While you were talking about Jim, the spirit guide, I was thinking about a medium I saw maybe a couple of months ago. She told me that my spirit guide is my cousin Lisa, and she kept saying, this woman is she keeps saying, hey sis, and I was like, well, I don't have a sister, and
yes,
I don't.
You do. Her.
Wow.
She was your sister in a previous life. As a matter of fact, your last life, not this one.
Oh, wow. And
because,
I mean, it was just weird to me because before I went to see this medium, I did not even think about my cousin at all. I was thinking about my grandparents.
When you pass away, and if you have to come back again, because we all come back, you come back in the same family circle. Everyone does. I mean, we're all in the same family. We're all from the soul family. This isn't home. That's home. You come in here to learn lessons and fulfill a purpose, a physical purpose. But yes, we all come back. So don't bother with the 23andMe or the Ancestry.com, because the person you're looking up that looks like you from 100 years ago was you.
Oh, Sharon did do that.
You don't have to worry about, I come from Africa or my parent. No. You come from all over the world. You come from one place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get over the other crap. All that is just a money-making scam business that they want you to give your money to them, and so they can tell you about some relative that you're hoping that you have royalty. You might have royalty. You know what? Who gives a shit about royalty?
So do you know, I mean, have you been open up to your past lives?
I can't, I know some of them. I can't tell you about all of them. And now I will tell you what you do not need to know about your past lives. Anything. Do you know why? Because the reason being is if your past life was so important, you wouldn't be here now, because you would have fulfilled your soul's purpose and you wouldn't have had to come back. So don't bother with that bullshit. What's important is what you do now. It's about punching that dance card enough times that you don't have to come back. It's about fulfilling your purpose. And your purpose is the same as mine. It's the same as Cisco's. It's the same as everybody outside in the world. Everyone has the same purpose. It's not about being a lawyer or a basketball or a movie star. Okay. All that stuff is ego and choice. Okay. And most of that is bullshit. Your purpose is you are here to help people, but you are here to help them just for the sake of helping, not because it's going to make you money or make you more important than someone else, because no one is more important than anyone else. We all come from the same place. We can all go back to the same place as long as you choose to go back there, because it's your choice to go to heaven. No one else is going to make that for you. No one else can make that for you. It's your choice. And if you choose to go into that realm, you can. You don't want to, you just remain here as an earthbound spirit. But your purpose is to help other people just because you can, just because you should. Someone's going to come up to you, Sharon, and say, you know what? I'm lost. Can you help me? Cisco, I'm lost. Can you help me? And it's up to you, Cisco, to use your free will to go, you know what? I could help them. Or you could be the other person who goes, you know what? Screw people. I hate people. I ain't doing this crap. When you do that, you will remain on the alternative path. And you know what happens to people on the alternative path? They come back again.
For a new lesson.
Right. New lessons to learn, new purpose to get through, same purpose, but just another time. Or, and people still do come back. They still learn they fulfill their purpose through, but we don't do it enough, because we could help a gazillion people throughout our lives, but we don't. We let the world, we let ego, we let all that other mess get into our lives and screw things up for us and keep us from doing that. So we do have to continually come back until we punch that dance card enough times. And then when you go back, because the way that it's going to happen for you, it's the way it happens for everyone, okay? Doesn't make a difference if you get hit by a car, fall off the top of a building, get COVID, get a debilitating disease, even if you commit suicide. All of that is a facilitation in order for your body to die, okay? Because no matter what, in order for the soul to leave here and go back home, the body has to die. I know people get upset with the part about taking your life, but what that is when it's your time to go, it just is. And if the soul is being called home to go home to heaven, it will put the body in a place or in a situation in order for that body to pass away so the soul can go home. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's two rules in this world you have to understand. And as long as you understand them and comprehend them, you will appreciate your life more. Rule number one, people die every day. And rule number two, you cannot change rule number one. It will not work. A doctor can fix your bones. He cannot save your soul. When it's time for your soul to leave, it will. Some people are here for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 50 years, whatever. You're here for as long as you're supposed to be, and that's it. But the thing is we all get attached to everyone and we have relationships with them. You didn't lose anyone. They just left. Their body left so their soul could go home. And when you get home, you will understand it too.
Yeah.
You're just not meant to understand out here, because you're meant to, if heaven is not 3,000 miles in the sky. Heaven is right next to us. We just can't all see it. But if you could see it, it would be like a glass wall. What would you be doing? You'd be banging on that wall, trying to get a hold of your relatives. What would you not be doing? You would not be living your life, because they are not meant to be here anymore, but you are. If you were not meant to be here, you wouldn't be. End of story.
Powerful.
So, yes, well, it is
Sharon
it's
and
powerful and very easy, because it is easy. We make things complicated.
Yeah.
We create our own storms, but then we cry when it rains all the time. We create drama, you get drama. If you don't want drama in your life, if you have people in your life, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your so-called best friend, because we always have one of those. If they're not helping you in your life, if they're not helping to lift you up and be a positive force in your life, and you vice versa with them, back and forth, and you're helping each other and doing all these wonderful things, if they're not doing that, get rid of them. I don't care if it's your mom and dad. You don't have, there's nothing in a book that says you have to talk to them. If you don't want to talk to them, don't. And if they come back in your life, they come back to your life for one reason, because you allowed them to do it. And if they start bitching and moaning, that's not their fault. It's yours, because you let them do it. Stop talking to them. Get people in your life, in your circle who are good for you, because we can. And go out and help those people because we can, because we should, because we're able to, because we need to, because we're not right now. Look at the world. Do you think we're doing good? No. This place
Wow.
is messed up.
We talk about that stuff.
It is. So, I mean,
Messed up.
I think what you were talking about is really important, but I know a lot of people would, not have a hard time with that message of when it's your time, it's your time,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, when it is, well, it happens. You remember back in the 70s or 70s, early 80s, there was a guy named Jim Fix. He was a famous runner. And he went out for a run. And you know what he did? He dropped dead. You know why? Because it was just his time to go. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody dies. A vaccine is not going to save you. A ventilator is not going to save you. Nothing is going to save you. Everyone dies. 100. And here's the thing. When you go to heaven, when you leave here, no one goes to heaven right away. Like I said, you're going to stand up, look at your body and go, no, I don't need that anymore. You're going to take a step to the left. You're going to see a light that turns on. And you're going to either walk into that light or you don't. Because just as many people who walk into that light, there's that many who don't. There's gazillions of them here. I see it all the time because that's my main gift. I cross spirit over into the light every single day. And I'll explain that why in a second.
Okay.
So I see them walking around. There's no buildings. There's land. There's no building. There's no trees. If you want to call that hell, fine. But is there actual hell? No. Is there a guy there with horns and a tail torturing the shit out of people? No. There is no hell. There's no devil. There's no nothing. There is Lucifer. He's just an angel with a bad rap. And he doesn't look like, and I'll tell you one other thing. Angels do not look like men with wings. I see angels, archangels every day, but there's a different kind of angels too. And people don't know that either. So I see them walking around and all they do is interact with each other. So if you want to call that hell, okay, because there's nothing to do there. Or you cross over into the light and you can do gazillions of other things. You can go places. Because those ones here are just stuck here. They're just walking around looking at us all day. You remember that song back in the 80s? I always feel like somebody.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They are. They're watching every single thing you do, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. You wake up in the morning, shit, shower, and shave, get ready to work, go to work, have some breakfast, hang out, do your job. If you do your job, because most people are lazy and they don't. And then you come back home and you eat some dinner, you watch some TV, you go to sleep and you do it all over again. Spirit is around you 24/7 watching you. But they don't care what you do because they don't have to do it anymore. They don't sleep. They don't eat. They don't breathe. They don't do none of that stuff. They just walk around because there's nothing for them to do there. So, yeah, it's kind of a boring place, but but what they can do, because a lot of them are negative, I see them all the time. I ask them if they want to cross over, and a lot of them say no because they have friends there. And they also say this, there's no rules here. They can do whatever they want. So if they want to come through from that realm and come back into this one and antagonize the crap out of people, they're allowed to, because they're in a low vibrational negative energy realm. The ones who are in heaven don't do that because it's all about love.
Yeah.
But in order to get into heaven, you have to lose all your pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, all that stuff. And you have to let it go and then walk in and it's gone. But you are a different person at that point as well.
Wow. This is so good.
You want to hear the cool part?
Yeah.
Yes.
The cool part is, why does spirit come to me? Because I told you they believe I'm the light in the heaven. I am. I actually am. The light that shines, that shines the way for spirit to go into heaven is in me.
Wow.
It's always been in me. It's just my soul. And it has to be in a physical body in order for two things: to shine in a physical body, to show the way for spirits to go into heaven, and two, because I have to physically show them how to go there sometimes. The lost souls, the dogs, the cats, some people who don't cross over.
Yeah. So that makes sense of all the darkness you were seeing.
Yeah. Yes. I talk to them. They talk to me and my spirit guide. So everybody has spirit guides in this world. You have at least two: a male who's with you for the more masculine type decisions, and a female for the more nurturing type decisions. My spirit guides are different. I have archangels with me, and they do not look like men with wings, because they aren't. I see them every day, and the reason I have them is because of me being the light. I have to be protected from all negative energies so that I can cross the positive ones over. So they protect me from, I could walk into any haunted house in the entire freaking world and nothing can touch me. Nothing. I see them all the time. They come up, they're red. And because they are pure energies, just like positive energies can talk to you and give you ideas and help you to try to make decisions, and they do all that. Negative energies can also speak into your ear too. But it's up to you and your thinking mind to decide if you're going to do anything. They could tell you, hey, you know what, Cisco, I want you to go out and kill some people. But it's up to you and your thinking, hopefully positive mind that says, you know what, I'm not going to listen to that and go away. But some people go, yeah, I think I will go out and kill some people. So they do.
Yeah, interesting.
Bingo.
Wow. So we only have a few minutes, but I wanted to, this has been amazing, but I really want to hear what your take is on, where the galactic beings, AKA aliens, fall into the whole spirit world.
Because the archangels that I see, Uriel, so I get touched on my face for answers, okay? Move my glasses. And this is where I get touched. Raphael touches me here. One named Manos touches me here. It feels like blood's dripping across my face. That's what I feel. Manos in Greek means God is with us. Another one touches me down the side of my ear. His name is Raphael. I have another one that touches me here on my temple. His name is Gabriel. Uriel touches me here. Michael touches me here. Paul touches me here. Another one rubs the top of my head. I physically feel all this. Her name's Helen. Here's another one that touches me right here. Jesus. I see him all the time. He doesn't look like he's suffering. Ezekiel touches me right here. I have another one that touches me right here. Lucifer, not the devil, angel with a bad rap. Another one that touches me right here on my eyelid, Paul. I'm sorry, John. That's John that touches me there. John the Baptist. I have another one named Nikolai that touches me here. I have another one that touches me right across here. It just feels like that's going across my forehead. That is Jacob. I have another one that touches me right here, pinches my eyebrow. His name is Daniel. And I have another one that touches me on this eyelash right here. It's only happened 5 times. That's the big God. So I'm getting all those touches are all yes answers. If I get a no answer, I get 1. It feels like a tear running down my face right here. So whenever I ask, so when Cisco, when you were telling me that story, they were literally touching me on my forehead saying, yes, he's telling the truth. So that's a cool thing about it too. When people ask me questions, first thing I ask is are they telling me the truth? And I either get a yes or a no. So I know if they're telling, sometimes they like to ask me untruthful questions because they're trying to get a truth that they want and it's not the real truth. So sometimes I have to stop people in the middle of a reading and go, ask me some truthful questions because you're lying to me right now. How did you know that? Because I'm the freaking medium. That's how I know that. So I'm talking to spirit. They're telling me you're lying to me. Stop lying to me. So people like to do that, or they like to trick me because they want to prove that I'm a fraud or something like that. When I call them out on it and say, no, you're lying, because people go, oh, I want to talk to my dead brother. And I go, well, your brother's not dead. You're trying to trick me so you can make me look like a fool in front of everybody when you're the one that's actually look a fool because I just caught you in a lie. How'd you do that? And go away. But so yes, what do angels look like?
Well,
Uriel, this is the correlation. Uriel, Ezekiel, Jacob, Manos, Raphael, Gabriel. They look like a praying mantis. What does Michael, Archangel, look like? A moose, except his head's a little bit wider. His eyes are in front. He doesn't have the antlers, and he has a big giant moose body and big floppy ears. But the other ones, they look like, I have one that looks like an owl. I have a couple of them that look like sort of human, but not. What are they? They're just alien to us. But what are they? Aliens.
Wow.
These are just ones who evolved to no longer needing a body. They were created, just like you and I were created. Because do you want to find a spirit? Go look in the mirror. It's inside of you. You're the same thing. You'll become one eventually. And then someone's going to come and find a medium like me so they could have you talk to them. It's one big giant circle, man.
Wow.
It's all it is. You have a beautiful white light inside of you. So do you, Cisco. You have a beautiful white light inside of you. It's just been here a shitload of times.
So cool.
Hold on. Got to find out real quick. Sharon, you've been here 26 times. Cisco, 28. You're on your 28th.
Hey, that's funny. My lucky number is 14. So 14 and 14 is 28.
Yeah, you don't want it to be this your lucky number because you've been here you've had 27 other lifetimes. And each time that you came back, you were over the age of 30 years old, which means every time, so just as a round number, if you died at 80 years old, then you won't come back for another 80 years after that. So it's a 160 year span lifetime. So let's see, so 28 times, so 27 times 160. So you have been here in lifetimes where there's been no cars and running water and no bottles of water and skateboard and stop signs or anything like that. You've been here. There's no gasoline. You've lived in lifetimes of kings and queens and stuff like that. You've been here.
Wow.
I want you to go out and fulfill your purpose this time. Do you know why? Because the next time you would have to come back, there's not going to be any of this. Phones, TVs, computers, cars, gasoline, running water, bathrooms, gone.
Yeah, I think about that stuff too.
Don't think about it too much because I want you to get your purpose filled instead. Because if you do that, then you won't have to come back. And you won't have to you're not going to be aware of it, but you'll live in it. And it'll be like, you know what it's like to live in Serbia right now where everything's crushed and destroyed and it's a war-torn place? That's going to be the rest of the world 80 years from now.
And I mean, I that doesn't cross my mind. Like I sometimes, not that I'm clairvoyant or anything like that, but like I have 2 kids and I tell them that.
Yeah, I'm also clairvoyant. You want to make sure that everything's going to be good with them as well, because you're going to experience some of this, both of you will, in this lifetime. You're going to be.
And I talk to him about it from time to time. You know, I tell him, I was like, hey, look, man, something, might happen in my lifetime, but it will definitely happen in your lifetime.
It's coming.
So you need to be prepared for
yes.
this. I it's not like I warn him, but I'm just telling him to be prepared.
Well, so much so that 2.5 years prior to COVID coming, I got a channeled message because I'm also clairvoyant. I'm also a bunch of stuff, remote view, lots of stuff. And they told us that 2.5 years prior to it coming about a virus coming and the first stock market crash. So while I was out doing a circuit of festivals and stuff, and doing readings for people, there were some people I was telling, and I would tell them how to prepare. I told them to save their money, to save their toilet paper, to save their food, to save their water, to save everything, because you're going to need it, because there's going to be a time where you can't get things. Things are going to be bare off the shelves. We told them everything because this is what Spirit told us. My archangels told me, because they tell me everything's black and white. The way they tell it, this is the way it is. This is what you got to do to prepare. Don't fuck around with it. Just do that. So that's what we did. And we were telling people. And then when it came, we got 20 text messages from people saying, oh, we're so glad we listened to you. You were right. You were spot on and everything. And then I got 20 more messages from people saying, I wish I would have listened to you. I thought you were crazy. And I said, at that point, I'm not crazy. Are you going to listen to me now? And I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. This is not a 2-year disease. This is not a 1-year disease, as everyone wanted to think it was. This is going to be here for 7 years. And this is not going to get better. The control is coming in. It's coming harder. It's going to get worse. There's only one way to fix it. Stand up and say no. Everyone has to do it.
That's what I feel like.
Government has to go away.
People who are shining their light right now, and
yes,
they're saying to stand up.
We need to
repeat
that.
Unity.
There's lots more waking up.
So let's say that again. If we want to stop this, we have to stand up and say no.
Government has to go away, because as we know, the party system does not work. It's one group who hates them because you're the red color, and the other one who hates you because you're the blue color, and that's it. And do they get anything done? No. And everything else that they talk about, Afghanistan, I don't give a crap about. You know what? I don't live in Afghanistan. Who cares? It's all about misdirection. It's all about keeping your mind occupied while they do a bunch of shit that you don't see. And what that the bunch of shit is the power that they have and the control they have over every single person on the face of this earth, because they want you to work and to get paid crumbs while they make all the millions of dollars and keep themselves in that. And they want to keep. Is Trump ever going to get impeached? No. Why was he? They did that because they wanted to keep you occupied. They were never going to impeach him. Man, they're all in cahoots with each other, and they lie about everything because that keeps them in power and you not in power.
Wow.
They run everything, and it's not actually them running it. It's the big farm and all that. The companies, they own everything. They're just the figureheads that are going, oh, this is what it's doing. Oh, we got to watch out for Afghanistan. No, you don't. Do you live in Afghanistan? No, you don't. And what we need to stop doing is stop putting walls up around each other, stop segregating ourselves from each other, come together as a people and understand that we are all human beings. There's no black and white, no red, color, yellow, green, purple, blue. We're all human beings living
Love it.
together.
Yes.
And we are all men and women. There's no 26 or 74 or 8,300 different types of genders. You're a man and you're a woman, and you come into this world to learn lessons as a man and or a woman. And each time you come back, I mean, you've been here, I'm going to say 26 times, and you've been here 28 times, Cisco. So out of that 28 times, Cisco, only 14 times, well, there's your lucky number. Only 14 times you've been a man. The other 14 times you're a woman. So each time you come back, you just come back and you learn lessons in that body. When you start changing parts, you're coming back because you're here to learn lessons in that body, not change it into another one. If you want to love women and you're a woman, that's okay, because in heaven, you're allowed to love anybody you want to. You're supposed to do that here. Only people judge each other. God does not judge you. We judge ourselves 1,000 times a day. Why does he need to do it once more? Because he doesn't.
Awesome.
What happens when you die out of your body, you'll go, no one goes to heaven. Right away, you will go to a holding place, and they're going to tell you, oh, you made this decision, Sharon, you made this one, but it affected 10 people, not just 2 people. And you as a soul want to do good things. And you go, oh, man. Then they go, well, you got to go back. Sorry, you didn't fulfill your purpose. You were living too much ego stuff, and you just didn't do all this. And you did a little bit, but you didn't do it enough. You got to go back. And you're like, oh, okay, I got to do cool things. But what happens is you wake up in the next time and you're a baby body, and you go, when you got somebody above you going, I'm your mom and dad. And you're going, I don't know who the hell you are. And then they teach you then you come into this world with my gift, same as everybody does. But you lose it because you get taught the ways of the world, and it goes away.
Yeah.
We have to all wake up. It's time for everyone to wake up and go, you know what? It's enough of this crap. They are lying to us. Let's get rid of them. Let's start over. Because that's the only way it will happen.
Hey, that's a great way to end. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Those are much needed words.
Yeah. For joining us, I just felt a connection, right there. Like what you were saying, I was, just feeling it, so thank you for your time.
It's all part of us. I'm not stealing anything from you. You're not. We are all connected. We all come from the same place. We can all go back to that same place if we choose. But yeah, we're all. When we get back there, you and I, Cisco, are going to be hanging out there, sipping some coffee and looking everybody down to earth and going, wasn't that some crazy shit we down there? Holy shit! I can't believe we did that shit. We put up with all that dumb shit. I'm glad we are home, because man, that stuff was stupid, But yeah, but we need to learn it.
Yeah,
because you can't be given everything.
Yeah.
No.
If you're given everything, you're not going to appreciate it. So yeah, life isn't always easy. If life was meant to be easy, what would be the point of living?
You're right.
Totally. I always say that. Yes. I mean, if we didn't have any challenges, then we wouldn't be here.
Right. Because as I said, there's no right and wrong. There's no epic failures. There's no mistakes. There's none of that. There's only 2 things. There's only 2 things you're ever going to make choices for your entire life. What works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, quit freaking doing it. If you walk through a door and there's a nail on the floor and you trip over it, you go get a hammer, you bang that nail back in. Or you're one of those people who continuously trips over the nail. And people do. They continue to trip and trip and trip in their entire lives.
Yeah.
Or you're somebody who learns lessons very well. Be that person. Don't be the other person. I worked in prison for 6 years. I was around inmates all the time in medical. Those guys haven't figured out how to stop being horrible criminals. Don't be that person.
Yeah.
Be the person who learns lessons good, Go out and fulfill your purpose. Go home and hang out with everybody else and stay there.
Thank you so much, Daniel. How can our audience find you, and what services do you offer?
They can usually find my picture on the post office wall because I'm wanted. Not wanted. But hey, if you want to, yeah. I'm not free for dates anymore because I'm married now, but you are pretty good looking, Sharon. So, boom, you know, could you lean over a little bit more? I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
If they want to find me for a reading, and this just proves it, I'm a regular person. I just see dead people. I get more information. We can all get more information, but you got to clear your mind up. And I don't have any fear of life. I don't walk around with fear. I don't care about anything else. If I offend people, I don't give a shit, because you know why? Because if I get offended, because I never apologize for being me. Because if I offend somebody, they're just going to walk away and I never have to deal with them ever again. Boom, goodbye, go away. Bye, Felicia. So if they want to get hold of me and they want to do a reading with me, they can find me at www.spiritmediumdaniel.com. It's all one long word, spiritmediumdaniel.com. Or they can find me at Facebook at Spirit Medium Daniel. They can find me on YouTube at Spirit Medium Daniel. I have a podcast called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, me. And we talk about spirit, metaphysical, all that stuff. I'm sure you've seen the videos. And that's at www.beyond-the-veil.com. And or I have a new podcast. It's called Dead End Stories, because dead is not the end. That's why. And people can come on and they can ask questions, and I answer all the unanswered questions.
Oh, cool.
In and all that stuff. So yeah, that's every Monday night. We just started that last Monday.
Oh, awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
You can find me. All you have to do is just look for Spirit Medium Daniel and you can find me.
All right. Sounds great.
Daniel, yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Except on the dating pages. I'm not on the dating pages anymore. Used to be. I was on the dating sites for like 6 years, man. I met like between 300 and 400 women in like 6 years.
That's a lot.
Look at me, man. I'm freaking handsome. Look at boom, shakalaka. Look at this. You know?
And then you found your wife on there?
Yes, actually, she was the last person to email me. Usually I always went for somebody with a picture because I like all shapes and sizes, women, you know. You like what you like. Everybody likes what they like, and you're not going to know that unless you see it. And people say, oh, that's kind of vain. Well, if you're with somebody, you want to be able to know that that's who you want to look at all day long. It's not about being vain. You want to be able to, that's what I look like looking at. I want to be with them, but then you get to know that person. But yeah, she was actually the last one to email me, no picture. And I said, you know what? I've had such horrible luck. I'll just talk to her. We ended up talking for 2 weeks. And then I asked for a picture. She showed me some pictures. I was like, holy shit. And then, we went on our first date on Valentine's Day, and we've been together ever since. And it's been 8 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. And she's also an empath. And then we channel together, and we get messages that way. It's cool to channel, because when I channel with somebody, a voice comes out, you know, it's not their voice, and they don't use the same words. It's all angels coming through talking.
Wow.
Cool stuff. I've done it with other mediums. I can only do it with mediums and people who can. I tried to do it with my sister one time because she has a little bit of the gift, but she's a real negative person, so it won't. And I tried to do it with that, and she went into convulsions and passed out on the floor because all the energy that came through me made her fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy to watch.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Well,